This episode of Chamber Chat is generously sponsored by Right Business Technologies.
Hello and welcome to Chamber Chat. I am your host, Ashleigh McHenry.
And I am Shawna Harris.
We thank you so much for joining us today on Chamber Chat. The Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit 501c6 organization and is designated as a 5-star accredited chamber by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The mission of the chamber is to promote and advocate for businesses in the Conroe and Lake Conroe area. Chamber Chat is our regular platform to be able to share upcoming chamber events, learn more about our members, and learn from our members as they share their expertise with our growing, incredibly quickly growing community. The Conroe Chamber is located near downtown Conroe, right at 505 West Davis Street, right here in downtown. And of course, if you want more information, you can always find us at conroe.org and all of our social media outlets. With that being said, we have a lovely show today. We have a beautiful guest, Terri Lisenbe. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'll be happy to. So my name is Terri. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at Carriage in Conroe, Independent Senior Living there on Longmire Road, and happy to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Here.
Absolutely. Well, how did you kind of come into the senior living industry? How did you get to Carriage Inn?
I started out with about 12 years in healthcare services, and then I spent 24 years in operations serving senior living corporations. And at some point I just thought, I want to spend more time working with families, working with residents. And so I headed straight into the community. And I purposely chose Carriage Inn. We're managed by RCM Senior Living. It is a smaller management company. We have about 40 properties, and I just knew of their reputation, their experience, and wanted to be a part of the team.
Are those 40 locations all within Texas, or are they all over the country?
Mostly Texas, some in one in Oklahoma, headed to Arkansas, North Carolina, Tennessee, growing, a nice growing company.
Right. Growing and with a good reputation,
Yes.
which when you're coming up to this time in your life when, if it's you, if it's your parents and you're trying to find that, the best fit and the, for the right budget, all that type of stuff, it's so important to have that growing company, that trustworthy name. So that's huge.
I wanted to tell you something that I really appreciated about RCM is during the COVID time, RCM made a decision not to move residents in to protect the other residents and the team members for quite a period of time, which really, to me, showed their commitment towards the resident and team members, which I appreciate and just thankful for that.
That was probably a difficult decision. So.
Yeah, everyone was faced with just really changing their whole business plan, changing their whole strategy, and everyone had to do it within a matter of days or weeks or hours. And
it was an hour-by-hour decision,
Oh, yeah.
Every single day, making sure that we were in line with the CDC mandates, all the changing,
Reevaluating and
protocols, for sure.
Absolutely. What do you think? Well, I'll ask you this question. What's your favorite part of working with these families that come into Carriage Inn?
I find that most of the time, the reason a family is, starting to look at senior living has to do something with a change, maybe a spouse has passed, a medical event, an emergency, or a move across the country. So it's usually not an easy time. And so we just walk through that time with them, helping them to hopefully just be as comfortable as possible, make it as easy as possible. One of the things we try to do is just to give a lot of information, a lot of options, education, and then help that decision. When that family makes that decision, it's the right decision for their family.
What all kind of resources do you provide for a family as far as like from when they come in? Kind of what's the process?
Right. So actually, I just met with the family right before I was here, for the interview. So we'll come in, get started, get acquainted with the community, find out what their needs are, see what resources, like you said, are available. Like if they happen to be a veteran, would they be eligible for aid in attendance or bath aid? What those resources are, what their needs are. Even though we're independent living, so we're providing, their apartment, dining, recreation, transportation, 24-hour emergency response, all of those things. But if they have a need, say, for bathing assistance or medication management, bringing in those doctors, helping with that as well. And so just to find out what the need is, meet that need, and help it to be the most pleasurable and easy experience that we can do.
What are the different types of care, like levels of care, because not everybody needs the same thing?
Right. That's a good point. So most of the time the resident will come from their own home. They'll either own a home or live in an apartment or maybe even live with a family member, and they're wanting to live independently. So with independent senior living, you have amenities that help give that support. Like the meals, the transportation, 24-hour emergency response, activities. When it's a time that, say, you can't schedule the need, and the need could be a 24-hour need, then you start looking more at assisted living or a personal care home. And then depending on if there might be some cognitive challenges, you may look at assisted living with a memory care community that would be more secure. And then after that might even be a skilled nursing facility. And so it's finding out, a lot of times it's even finding out what the need is physically, what the financial aspects are, how to help with those resources, get things set up so that the family feels comfortable and that the resident is really happy with the situation as well.
How do people come in contact with you guys? Do you get like references from hospitals or rehab centers? Do you get just walk-ins? Do you work with different, senior care advocates, that type of stuff? How all do people kind of come through your doors and end up at Carriage Inn?
So we do receive referrals from other companies, from realtors, from churches, from our residents. A lot of times we have a Monarch program, and the residents will make a referral of their friend or their family to come live there as well. And then we do have walk-ins off the street. Because we've been in Conroe for as long as we have, at some point someone has seen Carriage Inn. They've either participated in an event, they knew someone that lived there, had a good experience. I spoke to one resident today, and 10 years ago she was in our community for the Golden Needle Quilt Guild little teaching 10 years ago. And when she, found that she had a need to make a change, the first place she came was Carriage Inn.
See? Wow. It's that reputation that's been there for so long, for decades, that's huge. I've driven by it a jillion times. My daughter goes to Primrose School, Conroe, so it's right there. And I'm like, hey Terri.
There we are. By. That's right. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how many seniors do you have in your facility?
So we have 91 apartments. We have about 100 residents. Out of those residents, I would say 25% are gentlemen, 25% couples, 50% ladies. I would say about 35 to 40% move here from out of state to live closer to their family members. So we have just a really good mix.
That's cool.
Of residents.
And what's the mix of, as far as kind of needing more assistance and just a really independent living versus needing some more of those more specific amenities?
Okay. So for our residents, sometimes their families give the support that they need. So families are there visiting often. They may use a personal care service for bathing assistance, medication management. Many of our residents are independent. They're driving their own cars, coming and going on vacations. So it's just kind of a myriad of experiences. But it's when a resident, and we even have a couple of residents that do have 24-hour care come in because that's their home and they do not want to leave.
Right. It's a beautiful thing to kind of have a wide variety of people and a safe place to be. And like you were talking about the 24-hour medical response and that type of stuff. I mean, it's every single time I do the show, we always meet new people that are just doing something that's so cool in the community and just contributing in such a new. Learn a little something new for sure. And with the senior population, 55 and up, 65 and up being the fastest growing demographic in Montgomery County and the country in general, to be in the business of, assisted living, independent living, that type of stuff has got to be pretty, busy. Do you guys have a wait list? Do you have,
We actually do. We have a little bit of a wait list, but we work with families. We also have properties, so we're completely independent living, but we have other properties in the area that provide assisted living, memory care also. So we'll when our residents move in, their plan is to live there the rest of their lives, and that's what our goal is as much as possible. They've made moves. These are their friends. They're ready just to settle in, enjoy life. So that's what we're there to do, is to help and support. There is one thing. So we do not have medical emergency response. We have emergency response as an independent living community, but we're not a medical team.
Okay.
So if there was some type of situation, then we would call for medical
An
care.
ambulance.
Right.
Okay.
Emergency medical
There aren't
response.
nurses like on staff and stuff like that, but you would call.
Right. We
Right.
do not have a nursing care
Okay.
team per se,
On
but
site.
they have resources that come in, like, you know, a home care service. Just like at your home, if you had physical therapy or occupational therapy come in, we have a podiatrist come in. We have doctors available. They're just services that they would choose if they need those.
Like a third party.
But they don't
Right.
have to. They can choose anybody that they would like to.
Right.
So, a lot of the time, I would imagine that your client is not the resident, it's the adult child of that resident. Is there anything that we should be looking for or out for the holidays when we're getting together with family that we haven't seen in a while? Some warning signs, some trigger signs that maybe our adult parents are maybe not functioning as fully as they could, or might start to need some assistance. How do we start those conversations, and what do we look for? Because that's probably
Right.
tough.
Actually, that's a really good question. And it is at the time when you're spending more consolidated time together that you might start noticing things like going into your family's home, the condition of the home, how are things being kept, how are they, being able to take care of themselves. Are you seeing any safety concerns? Are they eating properly? Like one of the things when residents move in, they have that dining experience. They're eating more, they're drinking more. I spoke to a resident this morning, and he and his wife said that he went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "What are you doing different? You're gaining weight." And he said, "Well, I'm eating Tony's buttermilk biscuits and gravy
There it
every
is.
morning."
Having
So,
an actual meal every day.
Right.
And that socialization.
That is prepared and done,
Yeah.
and not, just from a can or just
Right.
from, anything. He got the freshman 15 going on.
Right, that's true.
So,
The Carriage in freshman 15.
That's right. That's a good point.
That's awesome. Do you guys also provide like social experiences and stuff for them, like as far
Absolutely.
as bingo nights and stuff like that? Like what
Yeah,
do
what type
you
of
provide in that way?
events?
Oh, I love this part. So we actually have more activities than one person could do. So we have church on Sundays and 2 Bible studies during the week. The Catholic Church also comes and conducts Mass. We do play bingo 6 days a week because our residents love it. We have bingo bucks. We have a bingo store. We have ice cream parlor.
What can you get
3
at the
times
bingo?
a
I
week.
gotta ask. What can you get at the bingo store?
They're actually valuable. It's like dollar for dollar. So decorations, you can get toilet paper, just
Like a little
personal
commissary
things that
type
you
of
need.
thing?
Cards, stamps, things like that, gift cards. They also, we have live entertainers, different entertainers come in every Friday. We go on excursions on Wednesdays.
it's a happening place.
A craft.
Jam.
We have a walking club. We have a craft club.
I might
I'll tell
forge
you-
my ID and just
I
know.
and just go and be like,
Can I get on the waiting list?
I need
That's what
some.
so many
I'm gonna
families
get on the
say.
waiting list now, and
They're
then once I
ready.
am of an older, a more mature
Right.
age, then I'll be ready to go.
Well, and like if you think about it, they come in and they've just worked so much during their
Mm-hmm.
lives. So we're providing the housekeeping, all the meals, activities,
nice.
transportation, support, lots of family events. So we have a car show in January. So we have a car show, an outdoor concert, a barbecue, Oktoberfest. At Thanksgiving, we actually served 150 family and residents a sit-down meal at the exact same time.
Awesome.
Wow.
We're going to do the same for Christmas.
Awesome.
So what we see is we provide the event. The residents invite those family members. Everybody has a great time. Everybody goes home and rests. We clean up, and the work is done.
That's
So
awesome.
it's a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a lovely just thing to do. But yeah. So when you are in a position as far as like an adult child, or you are getting up there in years and stuff like that, and you start looking for a place like this, what top 3 or 5 things would you say that someone needs to look for when they are going in to maybe tour some of these
Okay.
similar places?
The first thing I would say is to look at the team, the leadership team of that community. I would start asking how long has that executive director been there, that dining service director, each of those support people in the director, because that's going to show you, how long has that company been owned, by the existing company, so that there's not a lot of turnover in that way. The other part would be, we're looking to make sure everything is clean and the building is in good working order. I'm watching to see, are the residents happy? Are they interacting? Are they smiling? How do you feel when you walk in that community? Is it friendly? Does it have that good, encouraging home,
Like
feel?
any home. Like any
Right.
home. You walk in and you kind of have a feeling about it.
Vibe.
One way. A total
Right.
vibe. Vibe check. Vibe check.
right.
The
It's true. You're
That's
right.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you guys offer that's a little bit different, in your opinion, from different similar facilities in the area?
Okay. One would be, we're located in a residential neighborhood. It's beautiful. We're located on one floor. You can get to every part of the building, inside of the building, without leaving the building, which is really
that's
great.
nice.
It's
That's
not
good.
a high rise. You're not in a commercial area with traffic and lights, that sort of thing. It is a little bit more intimate with about 100 residents. The residents, they know each other. Families know each other. They can even watch each other's grandchildren grow up before their very eyes. So it's truly a family affair. I think that our residents, they're happy and they actually take pride in the beauty of our community and the things that we're doing. They're happy to invite their friends and family to come.
Show it off a little bit. Yeah.
You're right.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, with all that being said, with the holidays coming up, and we're going to be spending some time, us adult children, with our
Right.
older parents and stuff like that, how would somebody go about getting a tour with you guys over at Carriage Inn, contacting you, getting in and kind of seeing what it's
Sure.
all about?
They would just call. Our main number is 936-760-1966. We can schedule a tour, a quick tour, 20 or 30 minutes. I really like to invite everyone to come and have lunch with me, to get to experience the community, get to meet the residents, meet some of the teams, see the apartments, just to, because I always say a person cannot want to move someplace they've never been and that they're not experienced with. So we try to give that time for them just to settle in and enjoy. There's no pressure. It's just, just getting to come and see what's available.
Excellent. Well, Terri Lisenbe of Carriage Inn, we really do appreciate you coming in. You guys are doing great things over there, providing such an awesome service for the people that came before us,
Right.
and
Thank
that's
you.
really great. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Great information. I can tell you have a heart and a passion for this
I
work.
do.
so-
I do. We love the residents. We love the members, the team. It is truly about family and helping each other.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Perfect.
guys.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Well, with that being said, we're off to commercial break. This is Chamber Chat with Lone Star Community Radio. We'll be right back.
Back. Today's episode of Chamber Chat is generously sponsored by Right Business Technologies. Shawna Harris, the Director of Marketing for the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber, and I'm here with my special co-host today, Courtney Budra, Director of Events for the Chamber. And we are turning the tables on Ashleigh today. She is now going to be in the guest chair.
Yep.
So everybody knows Ashleigh from her time at the Chamber, and she has since started her own business. So why don't you introduce yourself as a guest?
Lovely. Yeah, it's a natural progression. You move along, you learn what you got to learn, and you're like, you know what, maybe I can do this for myself. But I'm Ashleigh McHenry. I run Bespoke Marketing, LLC, out of my home in lovely Montgomery, Texas. I have been doing primarily digital marketing, but also PR, print, digital, TV, radio, you name it, for 22 years now, since my very first radio job when I was 19 years old. And I've kind of moved around, seen some different things, tried some different things, and I was like, you know what? It's about time I start doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So I got the confidence up to do it.
So you said you've been in the business for 20 years and you started in radio. So what was that natural progression that led you to the Chamber first?
Right. The natural progression to get me to radio into doing my own marketing agency or, whatever I would call it. It's kind of hard to say an agency when it's just one person. It kind of feels silly.
Oh, it's agency.
But I'm just, let's fake it till you make it, man. Let's do it. I'll get some employees at some point. But yeah, I started in radio broadcasting. My degree is in radio broadcasting. So when I left school, I started in radio. When I started in radio, they needed a website. So nobody wanted to learn how to do it. It's all these old heads in radio that loved the medium and just didn't want to learn that digital piece of it. So I was like, okay, well, we have Microsoft Front Page, which doesn't even exist anymore. But I learned how to make a website in Microsoft Front Page because we needed one, and I could get extra hours and get paid some more. So I did that. Once I moved around, I did a little bit of TV, a little bit of more digital stuff, that type of thing. And it just turned out that the on-air piece of it, while I loved it and listening to music all day and, talking to listeners and going to a jillion concerts and meeting famous people and all that type of stuff, doesn't pay all that great. I loved doing it, and it was great when I was 30 years old. It was an absolute blast. But at the same time, once I got to 40, I was like, man, I don't know if I can keep up with these hours. I don't know if I can keep up with all this stuff. So what got me into the chamber was when I moved after I kind of had my stints in radio, TV, and stuff like that up the Eastern Seaboard in the Carolinas and stuff like that. I moved to Texas. My parents live here. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to get back into radio? What are you doing? And I'm like, you know what? What I miss the most about what radio and TV and everything I've done before has done is reach out to the community. I always loved the radiothons and telethons and stuff that we did to raise money for children's hospitals and all this type of stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get into nonprofit. So I started working for United Way. I started working for Montgomery County Food Bank. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, I love... My dad has always owned his own business since I was, I think, 6 years old. And I've kind of seen the trajectory of an entrepreneur kind of coming up and the challenges and victories and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm finally at this point where I'm going to help other people kind of see their entrepreneurial, goals come to life. And it just so happened that this opening happened at the chamber. So I was able to show people how... As I tell people, I'm like, you're probably very good at what you do. You might be a great plumber. You might be, a great, like we just talked to, an assisted living facility. You might be really good at taking care of the seniors in our community, but maybe you aren't that good at telling people how good you are at it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm good at. I can't do a whole lot of those things. I can't fix a toilet or something like that. But if you need somebody that needs to fix your toilet,
brag on it.
I can absolutely make sure that everybody knows about it. So once I did my work with the chamber, I saw all of these just awesome entrepreneurs and these people just seeing their lives kind of come to fruition, whether it's their first time kind of dipping their toes in the entrepreneur pool or they had been starting stuff for years, like somebody like Steve Scott or John Stacy or somebody like that, that they've owned their own company forever. Like, it was just so cool to see the progress that their businesses were able to make through the chamber. Mm-hmm. So as I watched even more of these people go through that, I was like, you know what? I can do that too.
Well, anybody that knows you knows that you have the energy and the drive and the passion to pretty much do whatever you put your mind to.
I'll bring it. Even if it's wearing a lobster suit or doing a radio show, I got it done. I'm going to get it done.
That's right. Get it done.
Right.
So, but it can't be easy and probably a tough decision. Mm-hmm. So starting up, what were your concerns and struggles and how did you manage those?
Absolutely. Of course, coming out of something that was very stable and secure and, I knew that I was going to get paid on the 15th and the last of the month every single month, and I knew exactly how much it was going to be. That was probably the biggest struggle for me. I'm just not a numbers person. I always joke to the chamber. I'm like, no, nobody wants me invoicing anybody. Nobody wants me touching any numbers. I don't need to be in any. I'll make the internet pretty for us. That's it. That's all I can do. So that's probably my biggest struggle, even to this day, just making sure that everything is budgeted properly. I don't have a ton of overhead because it's just me and my laptop pretty much. I drive my car around, do a show, go do a Facebook Live with a client, that type of stuff. But I don't have a ton of overhead. Mm-hmm. But it's just making sure that I manage each of those clients. So if one does fall off because we're at the end of a contract, that I have somebody else lined up to supplement that income. So that's probably the biggest obstacle. Just consistently, just making sure, like, okay, I got plenty to cover the bills. I got plenty for my kid. I got plenty for the house. I got plenty going on. Yeah. So that, but part of that is just booking more business than like booking myself at like 120% of my bandwidth.
Yeah. So where are you now? Are you looking for new clients now, open to add to your book of business right now?
Right now, I'm kind of in a really awesome place. I've had a couple meetings over the last couple weeks with local folks that were either this close to getting, lined up, or this afternoon I'm actually going to go talk to one that I've talked about and all the time for the last couple years through the chamber and everything. And he's like, well, if you ever go do your own thing, like give me a holler. And I'm like, yo,
Holler.
I'm doing my own thing. I am hollering now.
Yes.
So yeah, at this point, I'm really kind of at my bandwidth probably for the next, at least probably like 4 to 6 months.
That's a great
But
place to be.
it's an awesome place to be. And yeah, I mean, the chamber had a huge part to do with that, as far as the relationships I made. Yeah, they were kind of business acquaintances. We would see them at Fun After 5 or Morning Mingle or whatever it is. And, you kind of, BS with them and that type of stuff. But then once I left and I kind of went to them as someone trying to learn and looking for those mentors to be like, should I even do this? Like, this is something that I should start my own thing. And literally every single one I went to was like, oh my God, I can't believe you haven't done this sooner. Every single one. And that's when it changed over from just like kind of these acquaintances and people that you shake hands with at these events, show up at Lobster Fest, give us, $10,000 for a golf tournament or whatever it is. But I made real friends that were confident in what I do and actively searching for clients for me if they couldn't be one, and kind of preaching the Ashleigh gospel, which was so amazing. And my company today, even though it's still in this burgeoning stage of, growing and figuring stuff out, as any business owner is doing all the time, it wouldn't be possible without the chamber.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we kind of touched on it, but explain really what your business is and what you do and what your target client is. Is it a small business, entrepreneur? Like, what can you do for the different types of businesses in our community?
What I kind of go for at this time, after some trial and error with this, are companies that are kind of in that $2 million to $5 million range, so kind of like medium sized. They may not have somebody internally to actually be their director of marketing. They might just have somebody like doing some social for them, or it might be their administrative assistant that's just kind of handling some updates on the website and stuff like that. If they are getting to the point where that critical mass where everybody has a full plate. Their bandwidth is full, and they just aren't getting to the marketing stuff because it's not necessary to keep the business going, to actually service a customer. Like say, going back to the plumber idea. So you have 10 plumbers, that's fine. They're all fixing toilets, they're all doing whatever, and they have a ton of calls. But if there's nobody left to be able to handle the social media, the digital marketing, whatever it is. So what I handle primarily are businesses of that kind of medium range that just don't necessarily have the budget or time to get somebody full-time in there. So it's kind of like an external CMO.
Yeah.
So I can come in and kind of see what's going on. What are you guys doing on social media, on your website, print, digital, all of that stuff, and kind of make a plan and go from there.
Yeah.
So it starts with a strategy as far as kind of coming in and seeing the forest for the trees.
Sometimes they don't even know what they need.
Right.
They just
Absolutely.
know they're not doing anything. And
Right.
so there's really no plan in place.
Exactly. Like there's just like we know we have to have a Facebook page, but we don't have anybody do it, and
Yeah.
nobody's taking pictures, and nobody's doing any video, and nobody's doing etc.
Yeah.
So then I can come in, see the forest for the trees, and say, okay, we're going to start here with some social media. Tier 2, we can get more into strategy as far as like what you want to do in print, what we can do in other areas, so we can get a whole like full idea together and kind of fix what was broken, have a beginning, middle, and end. And hopefully at some point be able to get them to a point where they can hire, like they have so much business that then they have
that internal capacity.
Exactly. They have the internal capacity or can hire somebody full time to do it. Like I would love to be able to go in any place and be like, wow, you got us so far. We got to get a full time person. Like that's what happened at the chamber. I mean, like that made me happy, humbly, to be like, okay, well, you haven't found anybody yet. Like, can I come and help? So I started doing, side stuff for the chamber. And, until we found you and you were ready for the whatever to come in and take it over and everything. It's like, okay, well, I'll just fill this space, keep it running, all that type of stuff, make sure these processes are in place, these relationships are in place. So then when we do hire somebody, I can help onboard them and make sure that they are ready to just hit the ground running.
Yeah. So do you also help, like, say the plumber example? What if they never want an internal marketing person?
Right.
can you be that person for them long term, or are you kind of just coming in with like a strategy and getting them lined out and then passing it on to someone?
Over the last year or so that I've been kind of building my own business and my own book of business, I have some people that I've grandfathered in, that I've done like side work for, freelance work for a year or 2, 3 years, just to help them out, that type of stuff. Or people that come to me with different a la carte, different situations. As far as like, oh, hey, we have this event coming up. We just have nobody to make all these graphics and all this signage or whatever. So then I'm happy to take on those things as kind of like an a la carte type of thing. But there are some people too that have grandfathered into this system that like just I'm just still doing because I care for them and I want to see their business do well. Yeah. Am I actively pursuing those type of clients? No. Because realistically, my bandwidth, we only get 24 hours in a day. I'm going to spend some of that time sleeping because I have to. I'm going to spend a good bit of that time with my kid when I can because she's the best and she's so great. The rest of that, though, is going to be working. There's only so many of those hours. So when I started setting up my business, I started looking at the hours in the day, how much I can really dedicate, how many hours I could promise any potential client, and what I would have to charge for each of those hours in order to make it worthwhile. So that's why I go to the size business that I go to. That's why I go to the amount of work that they need and that type of stuff. Because if they need a person, like a full-time marketing person, they need to go hire one. Yeah. I'm going to charge them out of the market. Like I'm going to charge you enough that like either you go get somebody full-time or you can afford me. Like this, but I'm going to do as good of a job, if not better, than most of the people you're going to hire. I'm just not going to be there every day.
Kind of that in-between step. So.
Right.
So if you could pick a new business starts up, they start some social media, they build a website. What do you wish businesses would do or would not do as they're in that startup phase before they really need your help or help from someone like you? What are the groundwork? What's the mistakes that companies make sometimes that you have to either come in and fix or you wish that they knew about?
I would say number one, like the biggest hiccup that everybody kind of the obstacle they come up to is just like being scared to try stuff. Like
on social media?
On social media, on their website, whatever it is, because the beautiful thing, the whole internet can be erased. Everything on the internet can be erased somehow. It may be in some sort of Library of Congress somewhere, and Mark Zuckerberg may have all of it. I don't know.
That's a scary thought, Ashleigh.
I know it. I mean, it's probably a very real one, unfortunately. But so
So don't be afraid to try.
Don't be afraid to try different stuff.
Done is better than perfect.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Practice makes progress. And so if you go out there and you're like, well, I want to do some video stuff, but I feel silly and I don't know what to say and blah blah blah. Just put them out there. People love that type of stuff. Yeah. Like whoever's watching this right now is loving that we're just having a conversation about this type of stuff. And like, thanks for watching. And and thanks for listening. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest issue, because if something just doesn't work, or obviously like be appropriate and be ethical and moral and all that type of stuff, but like don't worry about like if a video does well and snatch it down real quick because it didn't get 1 million views in an hour. Like it's okay. Throw it up there. It might stick, it might not. It might get in 3 months, it might get all sorts of traffic for no apparent reason. Who knows? Yeah. It's just, there's more trial and error. It's more subjective than you would want to believe. A lot of people that want to start a business, they're going to get more in the numbers and have that bottom line and have like, okay, we've got to spend this and make this and that type of stuff. So hopefully they do have somebody that has a more structured mindset. But when a creative person comes in, it's like, no, let's throw this against the wall and see what sticks. Yeah. And that's what gets stuff to go viral or gets your people engaged.
Unplanned thing that just happened spontaneously, or that you tested.
Right. So. Like we did with the chamber, we didn't know what to do when COVID hit, and we can't do any events, we can't do anything. Like I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to use my camera at home and just do this and start talking and see if I can get Zoom calls with all the CEOs of all the hospitals and whatever. It's just, and I got the go ahead creatively to be able to like do whatever you want. We have to stay top of mind with people. Yeah.
And get an important message out too.
Right. And I'm like, okay, well, how can we do that? What can we do? And I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if anyone was going to watch any of it. I didn't know if the interviews were going to be terrible or what, Yeah. But, everybody came through, and we got so many compliments at the chamber about how like you guys really like got so much information out so quick, and that was you guys stayed top of mind, and that's huge. So yeah, that's the number one thing. Then find somebody external, like a third party person like myself, that you're friends with, that whatever. Maybe not even have them do your stuff, because when you have like your little brother's cousin's kitchen sink doing the website, then somebody's feeling gets hurt.
Yeah.
But just to sit them down, and I hate the sentence "pick your brain," but just kind of get ideas, because that's the thing. It's not even necessarily so much the lack of ideas, but then somebody that while you're working on your business, like while you're working in your business as you're plumbing or whatever, and you're fixing a toilet, you need somebody that's working on your business to get it out to more people.
Yeah.
So
you've talked about a couple wins with the chamber as far as, doing videos and reaching out to hospital CEOs. Brag on a couple wins like that you've had with Bespoke marketing. I know
Absolutely.
Over the last year and a half, you've probably really scored some touchdowns. So
yeah, it's been really, again, going back to the relationships I've made through the chamber and stuff like that, friends that I've made through this. Some of my bigger clients have seen just huge numbers on social media, that type of stuff. I'm doing pretty significant work right now with Meals on Wheels Montgomery County, and they just had their pumpkin shoot, like their sporting clay shoot or whatever. They made over $130,000.
Is that their biggest fundraiser for the year?
They have two big fundraisers.
Okay.
So they have Miles for Meals, which is in April.
It's a run.
It's a run. It's
Okay.
5K out on, I think it's a 5 and 10K that's out at B52 Brewing. Yay, relatively new member. And they have their pumpkin shoot.
Okay.
And both of them contribute significantly to what, to feeding, homebound seniors.
Sure.
So stuff like that, when I know I can come in and it's a couple weeks before the event and they had some turnover, they had some crazy stuff happen, and they just needed somebody, let's make the signage, let's do this, we need hands on deck.
Yeah.
And I was able to come in and, see like numbers on Facebook go up like 280% in a week and stuff like that. Just to get in, we sold out every team. We sold out, all this type of stuff. So,
that's definitely a win.
right. We've done a lot of really fun, cool stuff with Conroe's Incredible Pizza Company.
Oh, I've seen some of those
Yeah.
lives and the contests that you're doing. Those
Yeah.
are really fun.
They really, they wanted, Kim and Mario have been longtime members of the chamber. Great people, awesome human beings, and
they're
just
very
go there.
supportive.
IPCconroe.com. But they, the only thing is they had to be working in their business and they couldn't work on their
Sure.
business. Like this goes back to that. Like Kim has ideas, but she just can't execute them because she has, they have to be making paychecks. They have to be scheduling parties. They have to be, doing all that stuff. So she's just like, you're going to be my arms and legs. Even if I think of the idea, if she does, then we just knock it out of the park and get as much of it done as possible. So we're having milk and cookies with Santa. We're doing all sorts of different cool parties and contests and stuff on their Facebook page, and it's just blown up. So that's kind of two examples of the two that I had a lot of fun with, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
go ahead.
I'd just like to jump in because
Yes.
I've personally worked with Ashleigh
Yay.
because she came in and helped us at the chamber while we were in a transitional phase. I came on in July, and I think, Ashleigh, you came on as a contract role in June.
June 1, yep.
And Ashleigh was so helpful in helping onboard me, telling me what the heck is even going on with all of these events. We have
Who's
so
this
many.
guy? Who's this lady?
Yes,
who's this
there's
guy walking in here?
so much history behind everything, and it was so helpful to have Ashleigh's knowledge of those events and of the chamber, but especially to have her in that marketing role while we were searching for
Absolutely. Thank you so
that
much.
full-time position.
Thank
and
you.
we're so grateful to have you, Shawna, now. But I just wanted
You're
to
all right,
publicly
Shawna.
thank Ashleigh for
thank you.
all of your help. And I can attest to her professionalism and her skills doing social media and strategy and brand developing and all of those fabulous
Thank
things.
you.
So
Thank you so much. I was really glad that I was able to come back, at least kind of help through it, because I'm telling you, I'm going to wear that lobster suit again next year and for the next 50 years. I don't care. I'm going to come back for Lobster Fest every
Got
year.
your name on it.
Exactly. It's
I
like,
don't think you're going to have to fight off many people.
I know. I'm not
Yeah.
it's not like there's a line out the door like trying to figure out like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to wear a
It's all-
lobster suit next. Nah, it's
reserved.
just
But
me.
it's all yours.
Yes. But I've told myself, I'm like, if I ever, so I own my own business now, but if I ever get another day job or anything like that, I'm like, those are 2 of my PTO days. I don't care what is needed job, I'm coming and I'm wearing this lobster suit and I'm having a good time and I'm showing up for the chamber because they made my business possible, you know. But thank you for the kind words. That's very sweet. Yeah, I mean, I really like what I do. I really know what I do, and like when I interviewed at the chamber, like with the president years ago, I was like, you aren't going to find anybody that has the same experience as me. You aren't going to find it. And that's what kind of got me to the point of calling it Bespoke Marketing. And I know that we got to kind of close it up here in a second, but I called it Bespoke because I've had all these kind of different jobs. And like the white elephant in the room for every interview I went to was, God, you've had a lot of jobs. And I'm like, well, you aren't going to find anybody that's on TV and radio and print and digital and websites and branding and advertising and
video
and all of this stuff and video production and audio production. Like, you aren't going to find anybody. You can go look wherever you like, but you aren't going to find them. So I'm like, I know how to do 20 things. Why would I just do 4 things for somebody when I can go? And like this morning, you know, I go and, you know, have a meeting brainstorming for different stuff for Meals on Wheels. I come here, I do a radio show. I go meet with another client to do their social media later on this afternoon. I get to have full creative license of everything, and it's so much fun, and I think it shows.
Absolutely. Well, again, your energy is contagious, and we know you're more than capable.
I just did my fingers, if you're only listening.
Did your fingers.
I did spirit hands.
Spirit hands. So.
But yeah, if you want to get a hold of me.
Yes. How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm at...
Give out all your info.
Absolutely. I'm Ashleigh McHenry. I'm at bespokemarketingtx.com. And my email is marketingmavenashley@gmail.com. But just go to the website. It's a lot easier. It has blogs that I've written, all the kind of services.
The socials.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
Check me out. And yeah, that's it. I really appreciate it. This is so exciting. I get to be on the other side.
On the other side to be a guest. Okay, well, thank you so much. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Chamber Chat. This episode of Chamber Chat is generously sponsored by Right Business Technologies. All right, we are back with Chamber Chat, and we are here with Courtney again. We are going to go over our upcoming events for the Chamber. We have a lot of stuff going on between now and the end of January. A lot of things you won't want to miss.
A lot.
So we are going to talk about some of those things. And
yeah, so we have several coming up in December, some elected official like receptions and luncheons. We have our Hail and Farewell elected officials reception coming up on December 8th. That is, just to describe that event, if those who are listening are not familiar with it, that is a public event open to everyone. There is no cost to attend, and we are inviting all of our local and state elected officials to come and mingle with their constituents, those who are current representatives or who are maybe outgoing and their terms are ending. We're just inviting them to appreciate their time and thank them for their time served supporting our community. And for those who are incoming representatives, we're just welcoming them and saying hello and nice to meet you, and we look forward to them serving their terms. If I haven't said it already, that is December 8th at the top of the Conroe Tower from 5 to 7 p.m. It's come and go. We'll have appetizers, drinks. It's a casual event, so we're looking forward to it. We have roughly 75 in attendance, and about a third of those being elected officials. So there's a lot of excitement, especially since next year is an election year. We're very excited to see how that goes.
I think it'll be fun. And you said it was a free event, but if people can RSVP online, that would be helpful.
Yes, that is good to mention. It is a free event, but we are requesting RSVPs
for head count,
just so we have an accurate idea of what our head count is going to be.
And who is our presenting sponsor for that event?
Our presenting sponsor is Right Business Technologies, so thank you to them as well. Yeah. We have other sponsors as well. Please check them out on our website. They will be recognized at the event as well.
Yes, Rights is very generous for us, for our chamber. Yes. Very supportive. So.
Yes, they are. And then speaking of them, they are also the presenting sponsor of the following event on December 13th. We're having our State of the State luncheon where Representative Will Metcalf will be giving us some legislative updates. Now that we're out of special session, we can hear kind of what's been going on in Washington and Austin and here in our community. That, again, is December 13th at the North Montgomery County Community Center.
It's a mouthful.
It is a bit of a mouthful, and it's in Willis. Tickets are $30. And again, you can find the link to all of that on our website, conroe.org.
They're $30 in advance.
$30 in advance,
Or
$40
$40
at the door. So be sure to purchase your tickets online.
That's right. Save that $10 for Christmas presents.
Exactly.
So, and you already mentioned, I believe, Rights is also the presenting sponsor of that event.
They are.
So awesome. Okay. So what else is coming up special events wise?
Special events wise, but before we move into January, I did want to also mention that we are having our morning mingles are our monthly networking morning time events for our members, and those are always the second Thursday of each month for December. Can't believe we're already in December.
Yes.
For December, that will be at Conroe's Incredible Pizza Company, like that we heard from Ashleigh a bit on that will be December 9th from 7:30 to 9 a.m., and that is open to chamber members only. And tickets are online. I'm sorry, that is not chamber members only. I must correct myself. That is $15 for chamber members.
Yes, $15 for chamber members in advance and $20 for not yet members and at the door. And this is our final morning mingle of the year. And if you've not been to a Christmas morning mingle, then you're really missing out. It's a lot of fun. We have some special Christmassy drinks, maybe mimosas. Everybody's in their festive gear, and it really is a mingling event where there's a lot of networking. They open up, Conroe Incredible Pizza opens up the game floor, and so we can all play games, and it's one of the it's really fun. So
yeah, that's not typical for a morning mingle. Normally
Yes.
it is networking,
Business.
breakfast. Yes, but since this is our holiday morning mingle,
Yeah.
we're doing it extra special by opening up the game.
Yeah.
So we're really grateful to Mario and Kim for doing that for us.
Yeah, I mean, there's still
It'll
a
be
lot
fun.
of business networking going on,
Oh, for
but
sure.
be sure to bring a door prize. You can give that away and get some extra attention for your business. Lots of business cards, and wear your red and green. Wear your Santa hat.
Absolutely. And then another December event, we are having our Fun After 5 hosted by Plain State Bank, and that will be at their facility on December 16th. If I haven't said that already, that will begin at 5:05 p.m. That is a free event, but RSVPs, again, are requested. You can find all of that information on our website, conroe.org.
And this Fun After 5 is extra special for Plain State Bank because it's a grand opening of this new location, and we're also doing a ribbon cutting. So it's Fun After 5 and a grand opening and a ribbon cutting, and
All in one.
All in one, so triple the fun. And they, they know how to throw a good party, so it'll be
Come
fun.
out and support.
Come out and support. Again, probably holiday themed. Dress up in your Christmas attire.
Yes.
So
moving right into January, we are partnering with the Conroe Economic Development Council on the annual job fair. Will be the 10th annual job fair. Remind me again who it's presented by.
So the presenting sponsors are Resource MFG and Crown Brand Building Packaging.
Yes. So we're grateful to them for presenting this event for our community. It will be January 25th at the Lone Star Convention Center, and it's open to the public. This is a free event if you're job seeking. I know we have a lot of people out there right now looking for jobs. This is the perfect event to attend if that's what you're doing. Booth space is available if your company is hiring. I know we have a lot of companies who are
Desperately seeking employees, so this is the
Absolutely.
place to be for yourself and your business in January.
Yes, booth space is available, and you can purchase that online on conroe.org. If you look on our event calendar, you will see that on January 25th. And another interesting piece of job fair this year that I'm not sure they've done in previous years is another partner of the event, Workforce Solutions, is going to be hosting several workshops, like interview workshops leading up to the job fair. So those will take place at our building at the Chamber's offices, and they'll be doing all sorts of resume review, talking about interview skills, and that's going to be especially helpful for people who may have not have had an interview in a while, or maybe have had interviews but they haven't gone anywhere. So learning what it is that maybe you should be honing in a bit more to land those jobs or to get those offers. So that's going to be a really important piece that Workforce Solutions is offering, and we're grateful to them for doing that.
Absolutely. And they have a couple sessions for morning and a couple sessions for afternoon. So a lot of flexibility to find something that fits your schedule.
Absolutely.
So.
I believe they are on 6 different days that they're being offered. There are 3 morning sessions and 3 afternoon sessions. And again, those can be found on our event calendar on our website.
Absolutely.
Go to January.
Conroe.org.
Absolutely. And then one of our marquee events that we're super, super, super excited about is our Chairman's Ball, presented by Sam Houston State University. This year it is honoring our 2021 Chairman of the Board, who is Dr. Rebecca Riley of Lone Star College Montgomery. And our theme is Carnival in Rio. So
it's going to be so much fun.
Very festive, lots of bright colors. There may or may not be a samba dancer or 2.
Maybe.
So we're super excited. It's going to be an exciting night.
It's at Margaritaville. Did you already say that?
No, I didn't. It's at Margaritaville, January 29th from 6 to 10 p.m. And we'll have casino games. We'll have a lovely meal and dinner and dancing and an awards presentation honoring Dr. Riley and a passing of the gavel ceremony to our 2022 Chairman of the Board. So it's a special event.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Definitely not one to miss. So.
Nope.
Well, I think that covers it. That's a lot happening between now and January. We're also the chamber offices are going to be closed the 23rd and 24th, also the 31st, so for the holidays. And I think we're going to wrap this one up for the last chamber chat of 2021.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.